Hello there, YouTubers. Well, we're working on this pile here. First of all, I got kind of apologize for not getting the videos out the last few days. Brain's been scattered all over the place. It'd be rainy, then not rainy, then the sun would come out, but it was so muddy I wouldn't go any place. Then yesterday the wife wanted to go out kind of browsing through thrift stores and places like that, and so I went down and looked at it. It was so muddy I just didn't feel like getting in it. We had over an inch of rain, and the washout down there is getting just another thing put on my repair list. Getting down into my third row here, and this wood's been here so long that I got no idea. This is a piece of locust. You can see the size it is. This has been here 5, 6, 10 years. I don't even remember the last time I even got any locusts. And it's all split big for the boiler. That's locust there. This is oak, 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 oak. Locust, locust, locust. There's a whole little bit of locust. In fact, the whole bottom row I think is locust. But the wood's been here so long that I'm trying to get it out because the bugs are getting into it. It's real dusty. The top is covered now with raccoon poop, which those daggone raccoons get into everything. So now we're going to go up and I'm going to be scattering all over the place. The reason I'm kind of tucked in here is because it's windy out there, and I don't mind working in the wind, but it makes kind of goofy sound on videos. I took that rack out, which I'll spin you around, give you a headache. These are going to go out. I hope to get you in a Toolcat ride. It just depends on how fast I can jabber through all the crap that I'm working on. Here's another rack that's got to go out of here. That's finished up. What's boiler at right now? Boiler is, she's running 182 with no stack temperature, about 180 stack temperature. It runs whatever the boiler temperature is. It usually maintains about that. You can see all the ground here is wet. I'm working on my wind spinner. I'm working on, oh my goodness, I got so much stuff going on. I still got to get that out of there. Now you're getting hit, I think, with wind. But I think if I turn it this way, it gets out of the wind, except for I can't get in around there. It is just, it's not really, I'd say more breeze than wind. Here's the wind spinner I've been working on. Now I changed the bearing out to a sealed bearing instead of a shielded bearing. And the difference, but I'm having a hard time. These things keep coming up and getting in the paint way and stuff like that. I had to take it inside to wrap it up. You just couldn't wrap it up out here, but that's coming along. So I've been working on that, and believe it or not, to wrap that, it's not cellophane, it's just packing tape around those. It took me, I bet, every bit of a half hour, so it takes some time. Now, I hope that wind isn't getting you. Here, I'm going to show you something. This is the phone that I put in the can cruncher. I don't know if you saw it on one of the videos, but this is the one that I went to do a minute video back to show you how the Sawmill's coming, and that's not really coming along too good. And I had just taken it out of the charger. I knew the battery was bad. That's why the wife stopped using it. She had some kind of a screensaver. It looks just like it was glass. It was glued on there somehow. Anyhow, so it stopped working. I didn't have any timing on the video at all, and I got so mad I threw it against the wall, across the top of the blade, and hit the wall of the wood splitter or sawmill in the back. The thing ricocheted off the wall, flew into two pieces, landed at my foot, and turned on, which even frustrated me even more. So I put it in the wood splitter or the can cruncher, and it did not crunch it. Here's the phone that I've been using, and it's a total piece of junk, really junk. I've had 2 or 3 other flip phones that were, one was given to me by the school board, and one was given to me, we might have bought early on, I don't know, but when they changed something in the computers, the phones wouldn't work, and that one was a real nice phone. This thing has been a total piece of junk. Sometimes you could hit a number, I don't know how to show you, and it would just zoom across the whole mess of numbers real quick, and then you try to erase one, and erase one, maybe two, and you hit one time and you do two. Oh, it was just terrible. So I needed to go buy another one of these so I could do shorts. I went through two others that were my daughter's, one of my daughters, that just didn't work. They wouldn't come on. So that didn't work. So I went to Walmart, or I first went to AT&T looking for a cheap phone that would go on the computer to do shorts with. And you're looking at, you know, 100 to 200 bucks. And I'm sitting there going, you know, whatever. So we went over to Walmart looking for a, you know, one under $100. Couldn't really come up with anything. This phone here, wait, I'll show you what I got. Now you have to, I don't know whether this will focus in or not. The way I hold this in my pocket is I have a rubber band that just broke. That's how everything is going around here nowadays. So I bought a cell phone. See, I bought a cell phone. Up to date, no longer the flip phone. If I don't get them mixed up, I'll be all right. So that one can do shorts, and I can call. So to replace this thing here at the AT&T store was $250 for an upgrade. They had this one there, and it was like $1.25 or something like that. I have no idea what the prices are. And there's so many different plans out there. Well, we're on an AT&T plan. So I ended up going over to Walmart. There was a lady over there. If Walmart ever gives out Employee of the Month, they should give it to the lady that helped me with this, or girl, I don't know. She had more knowledge than I can even think of. She was really good, and I'd like to thank her. I don't know if I gave her one of my little round buttons, and maybe she'll look it up and hear me. I don't remember her name. I should write her name because she really deserved the credit. Anyhow, I did a short on this and already put it on YouTube. So this one's working for shorts, and it works for getting around. I'm not into working it that much. There's a whole lot of stuff on here I don't want. So and I don't know that much about it. So I'm learning on that. But the reason that I always like these, I could keep them in my top pocket and button the button. Now I can't do that. And with this busted rubber band, I just put that around there so when I bend over, it doesn't fall out. Well, the other ones, these you could put in your pocket, top your button. That's why if you called me, which I don't get that many calls, it would take me so long to get the phone out because first I had to undo the button. Well, this one here would fall down in sideways. I think, ouch. Here you can see the pattern where the phone always set. I think you can see it if you're in there. And it would sit sideways like this, but this one was just a little bit bigger, so when it went in sideways, man, you had to pry like heck to get it out. And that was, every time I got a call, oh man, I was just cussing calls because it was so hard to get out. Anyhow, that's what's going on in there. I had more plans for this. It might have got by that can cruncher. Well, we'll put in the can cruncher again while we're here. We're just playing around anyway. I still have it plugged in. I've been working on cat food cans. I take the labels off of them. For now, I'm just throwing them on the ground. Let me turn some lights on in here. Let me take this cover off. I don't think the cover was on it when I crunched it. But I know I had you guys off the tripod. You're on the tripod right now. So let's turn this thing on. Bring it down. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe somehow I did it because if I go, it's got a slot that goes through. I don't know how I did it the last time. How about if I put it like, well, as soon as it hits that slot to fall through, it'll fall through. There, it's there now. It's hitting 1200 psi, and it doesn't do anything to that phone. Now see, when I go back, it's just going to fall into the bucket. That's how the cans do. But it didn't do anything. Didn't hurt the screen. Kind of messed it up. It's got a little curve to it now. We could curve it back, but I can't hold it. Anyhow, it might make it through this thing. I can curve it back, just no, you can't. That thing is one tough phone. So hats off to Apple. They make a tough phone. That's where I hit it on the I smashed it on the, oh, it did have a little crack there. I did get a little sparkle there. I didn't get that the last time. I don't remember, but it didn't hurt the front of it at all. It has got a curve to it now, but it had a curve to it after I, yeah, it's still got a curve to it. I don't care. Anyhow, we're done with that. Now I'm going to go back, let's see. We've got one coat of paint on that. That's working on that. We're going to turn that off. We're going to go back and go for show you what's going on in that Toolcat. And we'll take a basket down and bring it up. But once again, you need two hands, one to steer and one to work the loader control. I still have that. It's got all the tools in it, so I take it. I'm still using that probably as my main get around. But for moving things when you need the forks, that doesn't have it. This does, and gets around a lot faster and with a lot less fuel than the Bobcat. I got to the greenhouse. Let's see. We'll go out there real quick. Nah, I got cherry in the fireplace. One thing that I did notice, and I think Larry from Larry and Robin Outdoors, I don't remember names too well. Anyhow, they said, you know, it's nice having the cab, but then you got to clean the window, and I never really gave that much thought. And when the window's not that dirty, I rinsed it off a little bit, but when you get inside, I don't know if you guys can see it looks terrible. So you got to get inside, and then you got to start it up. I have the start bypassed right now. You turn it on, and it'll tell you it's on, which is just like the loader. Then it's got a heat up thing. It gives you a little information there, but it's already heated up because I can see it's there, so the light's already gone out. And that's it. Now you have to pull this arm down, kind of like the same as in the regular Bobcat. Now, the parking brake, okay, it's on brake, which is here, is parking brake. And then the center button out here is high and low range. This tells you your parking brake's on. So as soon as I put it in reverse, I also have a rear view camera, so it can show me where I'm going backwards. I got to make sure my load's up high enough. So now I can go backwards with this, but I still like to look around backwards because I'm not very good at driving. We'll go this way. Like I said, I'm trying to do this one-handed, which doesn't work real well. It's a little tight here, and the bushes are a little bit higher there. I'll raise that up. Anyhow, that's then you got to do, because it's hydrostatic, it's like all the tractors, they want some RPM on them. So this is the RPM right here. So I run around 1500. Now if you watch up here, I'm going to go put it in high speed. And see, the rabbit comes on now. It's telling me I don't have my seatbelt on. It's also telling me I'm out of fuel. So, see, now it'll take off pretty good. And I'll just put this rack down here. It's a lot faster than the regular skid steer Bobcat. And usually here it doesn't get too muddy. So I'll just set this thing here for now. And it also has the, I gotta switch hands. Usually when I do this kind of stuff, I have it in low range. This also has the, if you can see out there on the forks, where you got the lock and unlock, see the levers come up? You can do that to lock your load in, or lock your forks on. So we could go up and grab the other crate real quick. And it's just like a regular car, you just shift it into forward. That's the snow blower I got with it, and that's the snow blade I got with it, which if you can see it, I don't know, it's got a plastic cutting edge or some kind of high-tech thing cutting edge. There's a runaway barrel. Got so much wind, that was up here by that barrel. Blew out of the way. Now you can put this thing in to four-wheel steer. I don't have it in four-wheel steer, and it'll turn on a penny, not a dime. That's how quick it is, but I don't really mess with that. Oh, I got 2 racks up here to get down. Well, we'll just take 1 down. It's easier for me to just raise this up and turn around. Oh, that other rack isn't quite empty. That's my, it's hard not looking for a brake pedal because the Kubota, you needed a brake pedal all the time. I could have made that turn. I'll take you out and put it in four-wheel steer. Now I got to get under that. That rack there might fall apart. It's getting in pretty bad shape. I'm trying to do 2 things at one time here, which I can't. I ain't very good at doing. There. Let's see if we can't get that a little bit better on there. There we go. Hard to do with run a 2-hand operation with 1 hand. If you look at that rack, you can see down on that side it's all come off. That's a real old rack that I've had for quite a few years, and it was just built on a regular pallet, and it's just not hanging in there. Now it's getting a little warm in here. This has side windows. I don't have the heat on. Maybe I do have the heat on. No, I don't have the heat on. This thing's got heat and air conditioning in it too. I forgot to tell you that. So we'll take this down there. I think I'm gonna make 2 videos today, so I got one got one for tomorrow. Gotta keep switching hands. Normally it doesn't take this long to do something like that, but when you keep switching hands. Alright, now we're going to run back to the sawmill if I don't run out of gas. Man, I don't feel like running out of gas today. I'll tell you what, it has dried up real good down in here since yesterday. It's amazing what an hour extra daylight and nighttime, and then the wind really contributes to drying stuff out. We're at the back side of the sawmill. There's the sign, the saw that got signed. There's a piece of tin down there that got blown off of something. This is the least muddy path. That's why I'm coming this way, but I don't think I can swing around the... Yeah, I can swing around that irrigation pump, but don't kid yourself, it's muddy here. This is a real wet section. Now something that I got to work on, I might jump out for a minute and show you that. Well, I'll just show it to you here. See that big rock? That's probably over 3 feet long. My neighbor Penny brought it down to me. And that's got to go in here because we got a... Can you see the washout down there? I don't know what it's showing. I was going to get out, but I'm not. Alright, let's go back to the sawmill. Old sawmill, little sawmill. And this thing will go faster than this. I'm doing 10 miles an hour, which is... You have the throttle control here, so I can turn it up a hair. And now I'm up to 12 miles an hour. But I'll tell you what, I don't need to go 12 miles an hour very often. And it is a little noisy in here, but most of the time I have the radio on. I guess I'm gonna stop down here. So then you turn that off, you put that into park, you hit the stop button, and the engine stops. You got a little lever down here that you hit to open the door. I haven't quite got used to these suicide doors, and I don't really like that big of a step. That's kind of, I think they could have put a step on there. They have an option step you can buy for $300, which is, I think, outrageous. This is where a lot of that slab wood was. I'm slowly getting this pile down, but you can see the washouts here. This is still pretty muddy. So we'll go around here. I found a groundhog hole right over there. I knew there had been groundhogs living in here. That was another reason I wanted to get it out of here. That's about the last of what I got to chip up. Oh, now you're probably getting hammered with the wind again. These stakes I found back here. This one here is rebar. And it's right good size. I would say that might be 5/8 rebar. I'm gonna bend it straight. Here's another one I found back here. Got a crooked. I'm gonna bend it straight, and then put that down in where I just showed you where that big rock's got to go. So when I dump it in, it won't roll just down in there. So this is what I'm working on. I had to rip the steps up, and I've got this one set basically where it goes. But what you can see is this is tighter down here than up here. Okay, and this is a little bit low here. So this might need to come up. But right now that back has got to come up. So now I got to line that one up. So I had to take the steps out of here so I get to the bottom of those bolts and start figuring out where I got to go to get that one in line. That little bit probably wouldn't make any difference. But while I've got into it this much, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the main part of the mandrel's in, and it's in place, but it's not set. As far as the, I'm wondering where my hat was. This is the, I can't think, machinist level. And I think that should be pretty close now. If I put that on there, it will take you long. But to get it where it is now, man, it's hard doing this with, you know, when you get older, you need more balance. So I've done it in 2 different locations. And what you do is you bring it up until that little bubble in the front. I don't know if you guys can see that. And this is where the mandrel is right now. So we're one line off. No, because here comes another bubble up here. Okay. It's still settling. So it's one line that way, which is 5/1000ths of an inch. So it's right now this side right here is 15/thousandths of an inch high. So that's a soda can, probably the thickness of a soda can, and I don't think it's really going to affect anything. And that's in one spot. If I turn the mandrel a little bit 90 degrees, I guess if I turn it 180 and it goes back the other way, then I guess according to Mark you might have a bent mandrel. I don't think it's going to bother me that much. I don't think the mandrel's bent because we had it in Jeffrey's lathe redoing that front section there. So I kind of don't think that's an issue there. The lead is not set on it right now. I'm not going to set the lead till all this is coming on. And I've got, just to get where I'm at now, I probably have 8 hours in it. Because, you know, I'd put it in, then mark it, then come back up here and then put another shim in and another shim in. Then you got to go all the way around, pull it all down, and if it's not right, then you come back up, put another shim in it, and this, believe it or not, when I put that machinist level on it the other day, when I had it and I thought it was in place, it was only about 1/4 of a bubble off. So even with this weather going below freeze and up and below freeze, and maybe the wood swelling and the wood not swelling and stuff like that, it's moved. It moved. So, and I got somewhere on that saw blade, I got marks not marks, not Marcolici marks. Oh, there it is. So you might not be able to see it. I got orange on that too, so I know where I'm at, because that's from when I set the lead the last time you're on. And one of the reasons I haven't put any videos on, because I've been working on this, and it's so repetitive and so slow moving. Paint dries faster, guys. And you know, you saw it the first time, saw it the second time. So you know, the third time you kind of have to say, yeah, maybe you really don't need to see that. So that's why I haven't been putting. One of the reasons I haven't been putting videos on. The other one's because it's just been so goofy wet. So, but it's drying out good. So, oh, I got to get, what did I do with that? Oh man, I bet I just dumped that. I don't know what I did with the, oh good, I put it back in the box. Whew. Man, I scare myself sometimes with the nutty stuff I do. Anyhow, that's what's going on. Then plus that, the alternator's not charging on this thing, so it's got to get the alternator out and put another alternator on the thing. Been playing with it. It hadn't been working right for a year, but you could, most of the time, in fact, this kills the battery when you're activating it. It might not even start now at all. Yeah, so this wire that activates the field or coil or whatever isn't, somewhere it's losing its connection, because that should kill the battery like pretty quick, but it didn't, so I'm lucky. But I'm not charging the battery. I got a solar panel back here that might be what's keeping it up. It used to be hooked up. Yeah, it's still hooked up. I don't know. These things are weird, you know. And I got it going through a solar panel thing up here, and it says it's charged. See a little green light on, but then this gauge here never shows anything. So who knows what it's doing? That goes down there and over to that. Who knows what it's doing, guys? Anyhow, I'm glad you came along. Hope to get you another. I got another video that I want to make probably right after this video. I got two more that I got to make. One on the thing on the end of the forks. I've gotten a lot of feedback on the forks, and you know how I destroyed the forks by putting a hole in them and all this kind of nonsense. So I'm going to kind of maybe do a follow-up video on that, on the forks, because I really don't think I hurt them. You know, if it is what it boils down to. But that's going to be maybe the next video. I have a video on the moisture meter that they sent me. I've been doing a lot of playing around, research and nonsense with those. So I think the next video I'm going to do is on, you know, these holes that I drilled, how everybody's saying I ruined the forks and all this kind of stuff. And another person, oh, you got too little of forks or something like that. I got no idea. There's so many crazy comments on that I was really surprised. So I'm going to do a follow-up video on that. So that's kind of what's going on here. I'm going to get back on to working on that up there in a little bit. So thanks for stopping by and hanging in there with me and keeping faith that I was going to get another one out. I was beginning to wonder myself. So should have some shorts coming, and that's about it for this one. Hit the like button, subscribe button, send it to a friend if you don't mind. That would help me out a lot. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.